30-minute delay's over. We can watch the highly anticipated cross-examination of defendant Zachary Hughes in South Carolina. He, of course, the concert pianist facing multiple charges, including murder and the death of Christina Parcell. Prosecutors say he brutally stabbed her more than 30 times, dragged her body through the house, and then placed rose petals at the scene. So today was the big day. This was it, the cross-examination. What are they gonna do to him? Well, you'll see. They asked him one question on cross. Let's go into the courtroom.
State's Exhibit 66 up there on the overhead. Mr. Hughes, when you dragged Christina Parcell across the floor of the front room where you killed her, did you drag her by her arm or by her ankle?
I don't remember for certain, but I think by the ankle.
That's all the questions I need to ask this, Your Honor. Any limited redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Mr. Hughes, you can check.
Any other witness? Defense calling any other witnesses?
Your Honor,
and I am aware that you wanted to put additional problems in.
yes, none at this time.
Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to go back to your jury room, and I'm going to be taking up a few matters, hopefully very quickly, and we'll be back with you.
All right, that was it. Imagine a jurors sitting there getting ready for the cross with their pen and their paper, and that's it. Ankles. He thinks he dragged her by the ankles. Jacqueline Goodman, your reaction to that?
It was actually quite dramatic and pretty masterful, to be honest with you. So here's the thing, it's a risk. Trial is all about risk. And what the prosecution did was risky, but it was an interesting, bold move. And what they did was they asked a single question that really zoned in on the heinousness of this crime. It was really, they're trying to say, look, this is not about necessity. This is not about, I had to do this. I didn't want to do it. I didn't enjoy doing it. It's not what I would do. I'm a concert pianist. I just had to save the life of this poor child. Let's talk more about the pornography and all of the sexual abuse of this child, the background of the mother, et cetera, and let's muddy these issues up. The prosecution zoned in on one thing, and it was this heinous and well planned out, premeditated, kind of bizarre crime. And what he's saying is, you dragged her. How did you drag her? Did you drag her this way or that way? And they're going to just cause the jury to think of one thing and one thing only. So it was really interesting, I think, that the defense left it at that. They wanted to say verbally, here's my exclamation point. Here's my bold, italicized, punctuated, here's what he did. It was horrible. And the defense, decided we're not going to go into it. The interesting thing, however, is that in the rules of evidence, the defense can only recross on the area that was opened up by the prosecution. So if the prosecution comes back and they ask one question, in technical terms, the defense can only ask a question that is designed to shed more light on that particular issue. So the prosecution goes in and they decide, I'm going to narrow the scope of recross, and I'm going to say in this redirect what I want him to say. And it didn't matter what the answer was going to be. It didn't matter whether he didn't remember. It didn't matter whether he was certain about it. Didn't matter what his answer was. I dragged her. And it put a picture in the minds of these jurors of him dragging her by the ankle. Then, we know about all of the rose petals and various things that he put around the body, according to the evidence so far. So it could be partly that the prosecution believes, look, he's doing a pretty good job of deflecting the issues that we want to put in front of this jury, and we want to stop that from happening. But it's also a very astute way to do it. And that is, I'm going to end it on this note. That's the last thing they're going to think about. That's the one thing that's going to stick in their minds, is that they came in, they heard the question and answer. Had it been buried in a long cross-examination, it would have escaped their memories most likely. So, and it certainly wouldn't have had the impact that it has. And so what they did was a pretty strategic, risky thing, but it may just pay off for the prosecution.
Yeah, because they can double down now on in their clothes and bring it back up and keep that in mind. Because you're right. Basically what they're saying is, you're a monster, aren't you? And jury, do you want this guy walking the streets? He mutilated this woman and then dragged her body across the room. Don't get caught up in his other tales, because he is a good storyteller. He is a good witness, and I'm sure everybody in the courtroom felt his ability to get the attention of the jury and get it away from the actual heinousness of the crime. So it was a potentially brilliant move there by the state. For us, it wasn't as exciting as a long cross that got into all of the details and to really match wits with this defendant, because that would have been something.